Hey everybody, Eric Dorward here at the Spartan Rocketry Club, and I'm continuing my build here of the Estes Super Vega. So, glue is dried on pretty much everything I did in the last couple of videos. Quickly, I'm going to build one of these lander pods, and we'll move on to other more important things. So, they're going to go in. Oh, that makes an awful sound. Sorry. Everything's going to go together like this, at least to start. The instructions say that we want the end even on the upper part rather than the lower. Now they're close, but they're not identical. So if you have to align one, apparently we're supposed to align the top rather than the bottom necessarily. So yeah, do test fit that first. I am going to put some glue in at both the top. There we go. The top end and the bottom end of this tube here. And then we'll put it together. There we go. So if I put it in sideways like that, the amount of glue that's going to get absorbed here or pushed around is pretty minimal. And again, oh, that makes a bad sound. Sorry. All right, so I'm good to go here. I'm just going to push down until I hit the bottom. And yeah, there's a good amount of glue that gets pushed around when that happens. Obviously, I do not want a big disc of glue in the middle of my pad here. Pad could probably stand to be cleaned, but there you go. All right, so that's pretty good. I'm just going to push, see if there's any more. No, it's flat, so we'll go with that. I'm going to put what is essentially a fillet here, I guess. So just inside the groove here, and I'm going to have to smooth it in with my finger because it's not really cooperating, which is fine. I don't actually need very much glue because there's plenty of glue on this already. So there we go. That's taken care of. And then last but not least, I need to glue the little foot part here on. I'm going to put some glue in the hole here. And then just stick the leg in there. Now I spin it around a little bit just to get the glue distributed like so. And yeah, there isn't a whole lot of real estate there for the bottom part of this to stick to, unfortunately. So just hold it for a little bit and try to smooth out the glue, the excess glue. There we go. All right, so just hold like so. Probably I don't really need to hold this. I do want it to be as close to vertical as possible. And that's really what I'm shooting for here more than anything else. All right, taking a peek. Again, you can kind of rotate it to see how accurate, how vertical you got it. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to let that sit over there and dry. The other ones, yeah, I'll do them later. You don't need to watch that. All right, so those pods are eventually going to go in to the giant fin that I assembled in the last segment. But before that happens, let's actually move all this stuff. I'm going to add some of the other fins next. I think, so there's two sets. There are these long triangular ones and then the trapezoidal ones. I'm only going to do one set of the two now. I think I'm going to go with, let's do the trapezoid. Nah, we'll do these triangular ones. Order truly doesn't matter. These are going to go on the other lines that we haven't used yet, like so. And they are facing what I would consider backwards. The thicker, the wider end is going to go facing forwards. So that's a little unusual, but that's what the design calls for. All right, so I think I'm going to use the thick glue again on this. This shouldn't be as bad to take care of, but you know, it's worth investigating. All right, so this thing's so enormous. It's like just constantly in the way. All right, thick glue. Make sure you're putting it on the right face. It's going on the longest leg of our triangular fin here. Okay. This is just a piece of cardboard that I use to try to keep the mess to a minimum when I'm, there's wet glue all over the place. So let this sit for a few seconds before we move it on. All right. Second layer of glue. Okay. All right, and time to attach. So now, typically, I would be able to start with this flat, but it's not going to work this time since I've already got the big fins on. So it's going to be a little bit tricky to apply. I am going to try to get a frame here. Start at the back and then line up the middle of this like so. That actually feels pretty good very quickly. All right. I'm going to run my finger in here to smooth out the bit of glue. Aside from the fact that that's just good practice, it's really hard to see whether or not I got it on the line or not. That fin, that is. So removing that excess glue is going to make it a little bit easier. So taking a peek, looks pretty straight to me. I'm going to stand this vertically again, just for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is it's so big. It takes up a lot of my workbench here. So I kind of want it out of the way. And having it vertically there at least makes it a little bit easier to contain it. And also, so remember, if it's vertical, the fin is going to be, the drying fin is going to be under about as little stress as I can manage at the given time, right? Because if it's vertical, either like this or like this, the amount of force that's twisting against the glue is at a minimum. If it's parallel to the ground, it's going to want to flop like this. So something to be avoided. All right, a little more glue. There we go. And on to the next one. Just again, making sure, I almost put it on the wrong direction. Make sure the thick end is pointing toward the nose cone. I have pinching down the place where the very end is attaching with my thumb. And unfortunately, this is as low as I can get. So you're getting a lot of my hand, right? But not a lot of anything else. All right, same deal. Let's smooth out the excess glue and then check for alignment. This one actually got, glue wasn't quite as evenly distributed there. So there's a lot on one side, but not so much on the other. This looks like I could probably nudge it a little bit. Doesn't quite look vertical, but placement on the line looks pretty good. All right, one more. Spread it out. I have to say, I'm liking how fast this particular type of glue sets. It feels like it really grabs quite quickly, which is nice for this particular element. I very much hope this stuff is as strong as the other kind. One would hope. It's basically the same glue. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, hopefully this is as strong, if not stronger, than the other stuff. I don't know. Hopefully, I won't have to find out that it's not. I suspect that, well, when this rocket comes down, it has a pretty big chute. And there's going to be a decent amount of force on these big fins, right? When it lands. So hopefully this glue is strong enough to withstand whatever kind of forces are generated from landing. I suspect them probably is, unless there's a major chute malfunction or something like that. All right, again, here we go. It's better in frame. So lining it up as best as I can. It is nice when you're putting fins on that are aligned with the back. If you're trying to find a particular little pencil mark that you've applied, that can get a little dodgy, but if you're just trying to line it up with the back of the rocket, well, that's a pretty big, obvious target. Okay. Spreading the glue out again, cleaning up the extraneous glue, and then checking. Because basically what I'm looking for right now is to see if the fin that I just added is fairly straight, up and down, and evenly distributed between the two fins that I've already got on. And in general, I would say it looks pretty good. Ooh, that doesn't look so hot. So, let's check my alignment here of the main fins again. It's kind of too late to do much about it, but one of them looks like it got jostled or something while the fins were drying. That would be unfortunate. Yeah, one of them looks a bit off. Not really sure how or when that happened, because it was pretty good looking when I had it. I was checking for alignment earlier. It's this one. There is still some give in the glue, even though it's rested for about an hour at this point. But anyway, mostly just checking the new fin alignment here more than anything else. It's a little too much. All right. Like I said, this one was the one that seemed to be off the most. All right. Okay. So that's as good as it's going to get for the time being. Come back and let that set for a bit. The one thing that does need to happen to this is I do need to put fillets on it, and I think I'm going to do that at some point in the near future. But I definitely don't want to put fillets on it while it's standing vertically, because if I do, it's glue, it's a liquid, it'll run downhill, and I'll just get a puddle at the bottom and nothing at the top, or at least the bottom as I'm holding it vertically, so actually facing the other direction. But be that as it may, I have one more set of fins to attach, and then it'll be time to clean up any remaining things. And yeah, sounds good. All right, so thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.